It's a 3-point shot from downtown. He's on fire. NBA Jam, 1990, I'm going to say 4. Could be earlier. Sonic Weekly is the name of the podcast. Welcome back to the show. We talk about Sonic the Hedgehog and associated interests every 7 days or so. Sonic Weekly is the name of the show and our mission statement, and we have been on time. We missed very few weeks since we began in February of 2023. This might be our 3-year anniversary episode, so welcome aboard. My name is Grant, and filling in this week for Bo, friend of the show, frequent guest of the show, game developer, raconteur, Michael Stearns. Hi, Michael.
Hi. Sonic is past Act 2. I like talking to you.
Hey, I get that reference. And coming out of the shadows into the spotlight, star of the show, David the Lurker. Hi, David.
Whoa. Hi, Grant. Hi, Michael. Yeah, it's I liked the intro. You did it. It tied in perfectly, of course, to the big game that happened over the weekend.
Yes, exactly.
Right sport. Right time. Is this the 3rd year anniversary? I don't know. We should have invited every single guest we've ever had onto the show at once. I want to know what that would be like.
Yeah. Quick correction. As we frequently do on this show, we give incorrect information. NBA Jam is a 1993 video game release. Although, if you're thinking about consoles, you might have thought, oh, didn't it appear in 1994 on the SNES, the Game Boy, the Sega CD, and the Sega Genesis? Well, you'd be right. So 1994 was also correct, in addition to 1993.
But 92 was not right because Bill Clinton is unlockable in that game, and I mean in 1992 he ran for president,
and won.
But that's a quick turnaround if he won and they shoved him in there. So it makes sense. It makes sense.
They may have also had a George H.W. Bush ready to go. And so whoever won was going to get the spot. Or maybe they just haven't discovered George Herbert Walker Bush is in NBA Jam. I can't 100% say that I know for sure that he isn't.
That's true.
We don't know.
I'm sorry that I'm here replacing the person who could look in it and find out.
Right.
Well, but, Bo wouldn't know off the top of his head. He would have to, diligently research the topic and get into it. And probably there's nothing because I just made it up.
Yeah.
Returning to the show, good friend and also a game developer, a narrative designer, raconteur, creative individual, comedian. Geoffrey Golden is back. Hi, Geoffrey.
Hey, everybody. Happy anniversary. I'm trying to remember, is 3rd year the Gold Ring anniversary or the Chaos Emerald anniversary? I'm trying to remember which it is.
Or is it the Super Emerald anniversary?
Or is
the
it
third one?
the shoe box?
5 year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that could be. Is it the shoe box that makes you go faster? 3. Well, I guess it would be, maybe it's the shield.
I like a shield anniversary. Those shields are incredibly useful for me, somebody who runs into a lot of spikes.
That's true.
You better make sure you get the correct shield, the bubble shield or the flame shield or the electric shield. Otherwise, it's, it depends on your partner. And if you get the wrong one, it is considered very offensive.
Oh, no, Jesus.
Well, David, for year 1, I got you the general shield, the Sonic 1 shield, Sonic 2 shield, just the plain shield, no elemental effects. I hope you like it, but if you don't, there's nothing I can do. I ate the receipt.
Oh,
yeah,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
I guess I'll wear it until I get hit by something and it vanishes.
Okay,
and then I'll just need another one.
May you never get hit.
Right.
Now, I don't want to make it awkward or anything, but I got you a shield. It's 3-year anniversary.
Yeah,
it's the shield themed anniversary. Did you did you get me anything?
Oh, well, I got you. Okay. In Sonic Spinball?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I got you a cluck.
Oh, okay.
So
it's thoughtful.
Yeah.
Did you have a cluck already, Grant, or is this your first cluck?
This is my first cluck, so it doesn't. It's not unneeded, not unwanted. In fact, it's very appreciated. I will cherish this cluck very closely to my heart. Michael, Geoffrey, I'm sorry that you're seeing a gift exchange and you're sort of excluded on the outside of it. But at the same time, your presence here is your present.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say
us?
that being here was a true gift. So thank you.
We're all celebrating.
Inviting me into your podcast home here.
Well, we have a lot to talk about, a lot of exciting things to get to. Michael has a 32X tale he is going to share with us later. Geoffrey has an exciting new project we're going to learn about. We're going to talk more about Sonic something. But first, David, what do we generally do first?
What do we generally do? Well, we log onto the information superhighway. We type a very simple web address into the web bar. What is it even called?
Address bar?
Yeah, that one. You type in your web address into the address bar. Then you type in sonicstadium.org. We hit enter. And of course, our best friends over at Sonic Stadium, we look and say, well, what's the news of this week? And they tell us conveniently. So we don't have to do any additional research except when we need to. And hey, it looks like the top story, I don't know if you've ever heard of this game. It's called Sonic Racing Cross Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Didn't that come out every week last year?
Every week last year. That was Sega's gift to us every week. But one of the characters they announced, the free DLC, II from Super Monkey Ball, looks like he's now available.
II the monkey from Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said it first. I wasn't entirely sure how to pronounce II because it looks like AI, but I knew it wasn't that. But then again, after the big game and all the commercials pushing AI, maybe he is pronounced AI, but that's silly. That's stupid. Now, come on now. It's II.
What if ChatGPT is just a bunch of monkey balls? Like, that's how it works.
It's 1,000 monkey balls just bouncing around on 1,000 keyboards.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's still using tilt controls inside somehow, so...
It's a banana controller.
Yeah. Well, that would be more endearing than the harsh reality of ChatGPT.
Just a bit.
Which is that it's, I think, killing all the monkeys, taking all the balls, and eating all the bananas every time you enter a search. It is just destroying with great hunger.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Do you have any other information about II being in Crossworlds? Are any of his monkey friends in it?
No, but there is a banana mobile.
Does II talk?
No, he sure doesn't. Does he talk in Super Monkey Ball?
I want to say he has a sound that he makes. It's kind of like
he makes
a voice.
Sounds. Okay, so in the queue before you're in a race and you have that shoulder button wheel of emotes that you can perform for your other race car drivers.
Mm-hmm.
He makes noises throughout that panel of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he is voiced.
Okay.
But obviously, of course, he doesn't have like lines in the Grand Prix.
But does he make sounds while driving?
He must.
I don't think so.
Silent.
He's just
silent?
Well, that's the
silent?
thing, Geoffrey. That's the thing is with these DLC characters, they don't necessarily always have the rights to use the voices, maybe. Like, for example, they had SpongeBob and Patrick both appear as DLC characters in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, but their voices are not there. They are very eerily silent.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
So it's a question with each new character.
SpongeBob could at least
character.
when he lands from a jump, it could make the sound of like water squeezing out of a sponge or something.
That would be fun.
Could have done something.
With the Sega characters, it's really unusual that they don't talk because it's all the same company. You'd think that they could figure something out, but there's characters from Yakuza Like a Dragon who also he doesn't talk. Kasuga, is that the character? Silence means we all know it's yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
he is silent.
I didn't feel the need to say anything in that moment because I was so confident that was right.
I'm just going to Google it.
They're all silent.
Yes. Ichiban Kasuga.
Yes, Ichiban. He is quiet. They are quiet. Yeah. They're all quiet. It's always a little eerie because if everyone else is talking, then they just stare at you in silence.
I'll tell you, I raced with him once in an online race before because he just came out today.
Right.
As a driver in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I downloaded him. I placed him in the automobile that I have been using, which is a boost board.
Uh-huh.
And I came in first.
Wow.
Online. First race. Came in first. How about that? Thank you very much.
All right. That means you never have to touch the game again.
And I won't.
Is he in a monkey ball?
He's not in a monkey ball. He is free roaming. I guess.
But they didn't build a cart that like looked kind of like a monkey ball, like the way, like you remember the car Homer designs in The Simpsons, where it has like a big bubble. It doesn't look like a half a bubble and like half a race car.
And then there could be like a second smaller monkey ball in the back for that second compartment for his monkey children.
That would be great. No, it's a banana mobile though.
Okay.
Right.
Does it look like a banana?
It looks like more like a car.
Oh.
That's unfortunate. Right. How often are the monkeys a monkey ball outside of the ball?
I feel like
never.
Yeah, I want to say like in one of the ones with mini games, like the Wii game, maybe had them out of the ball for the mini games that no one liked, but and maybe that's why they want monkeys in balls all the time.
Yeah. I feel like it's that character's defining characteristic. It's just you look at that character out of a ball, and it's like this could be any monkey in any game, and then you look at him in the ball, and it's like that's monkey ball guy.
Yeah, it is funny that he's a very specific monkey, and his friends are very specifically designed. Like they spent all this time in it, but really the important thing, the detail that we remember, is he is in a ball.
Yes,
it's in the title. It would be like changing Sonic to an armadillo. And not changing that into a totally new character. I should be a totally new character who's friends with the characters from Super Monkey Ball, but is maybe not necessarily a Super Monkey Ball character himself because he's not coming with the ball. I don't believe that. For a second.
I'm wondering now if there is like a Monkey Ball fandom which would have strong opinions. Like, no, we love those characters. They're doing art of them outside of the balls and inside of the balls, and they've all got preferences, and I think those fans should definitely write in to tell us all about it.
I can imagine those angry letters now of like, your ignorant take on Super Monkey Ball was very offensive. Obviously, the ball is one mode of transportation that the monkeys sometimes use, just like it's a silly question of like, why is Sonic driving and not running with his feet? Sometimes I just wants to race the banana mobile.
Right.
Fuck off, big Monkey Ball fan, 89.
I hope there's an equivalent Monkey Ball podcast that's like, listen to this, and then they're doing a segment about how the Sonic podcast like really screwed up their take on Monkey Ball, and that they should really stay in their own lane.
I love it.
Yeah.
I hope this all happens. If this all plays out exactly as we predicted, give us a shout. SonicWeeklyPodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, we won't know. Unless Sonic Stadium reports on it, we generally do not know.
We're basically trapped in a monkey ball of our own, except it's a Sonic ball.
Right.
That's true.
Not much else gets into this ball.
What an echo chamber.
Yeah.
We find ourselves in.
The Echo Chamber is the name of the Echo the Dolphin podcast.
An amazing name.
Yes.
For an Echo the Dolphin podcast. Oh, so good.
Echo Chamber should be a podcast that exists. And if it doesn't, we're creating it right now. I think we're all going to Google it. ECCO Chamber. Echo Chamber. Nothing.
Oh, wow.
Nothing.
Oh, my God. I believe there's a new Echo the Dolphin game coming out.
You are correct.
You could be riding a new wave of popularity.
Right. Well, if we were definitely huge fans of Echo and have beaten the games properly, we could do that.
If only we were on that list.
If that's only right. That's the one list you want to be on. Is the
it's a small list. There's not many people who have
winners
done it.
of Echo T Dolphin.
Yeah, Echo should be in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. And people might be upset of like a dolphin driving a car, but it's like, listen to yourself. We just talked about a monkey driving a car.
A monkey is driving a car.
Where a hedgehog is driving a car, and you're saying a dolphin can't.
Not only driving a car, but also on an extreme gear hoverboard. just flopped over onto the board.
he
waiting to be pushed back into the sea.
I was imagining like a mobile aquarium. Like it's a clear van that like you can see like this water, and he's got like a steering wheel, and he's got like in his mouth, and he's like moving it in the direction.
Perhaps what you're describing is some kind of dolphin ball.
Whoa.
Like
filled with water.
Yeah. Just put some wheels on that boy.
Right. Okay, but the monkeys from Monkey Ball don't want to go in the dolphin ball because it'll drown.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's filled with water.
Right. That would just be the end of it.
Well, there's a little bit of air up at the top.
Right, because dolphins still need to breathe air. But they need to be in water. So what are they?
Echo's got to fill up his 5 or 6 little squares of air every now and then.
That's right, until he doesn't have to anymore.
Oh, yeah.
He gains the ability to breathe underwater. Spoilers for the first Echo of the Dolphin game.
Whoa.
So yeah, it came out. I have only just sat in front of the computer like 5 minutes before we started recording, so I have not monkey balled.
Can I mention a story that we probably should have brought up last week?
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about this week, but we will talk about it next week, which is the new fan game, or rather it's a mod.
Yes.
The fan mod to Sonic Mania Plus, Sonic Megamix Mania?
Yeah. That is what it's called.
After several years of fan development, I guess if it's a fan game, every aspect of the game development has to have fan as like the
fan
first
director.
Yeah, the fan director.
Artist,
So the fan
producer,
development of the game took,
fan QA.
4 or 5 fan years, I think, something like that. And now it's released. It is fan released on all not on OnlyFans, on Windows. And we'll talk to people who have played it soon.
Oh, okay. Right.
Because I'm not asking you to play it. I am probably not going to play it. If you play it, that'd be great. I'd love to. Obviously, I want to hear your opinions.
Right.
Are you going to play it?
I might, especially if we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
I mean, Megamix does hold a legendary status in the world of the Sonic fandom. Of course, the people who made Megamix Mania did not make Megamix back in the day. These are completely different people. So
maybe you can enlighten me more next week.
Yeah.
I am curious about who is behind the project other than just fans.
Right. Vague.
Mania, obviously the personalities of the developers, Stealth, Christian Whitehead, were pretty prominent and part of understanding the game's history. But here I don't know who the fan devs are or where they came from or if they have other projects that are exciting and worth looking into.
I also have a question.
Yeah.
Sonic Doom, right?
Yeah.
Is made by Sonic Team Junior.
That's Sonic Roboblast 2.
Sonic Roboblast
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the first one is...
Right. Sonic Doom is the old thing,
about.
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's been in development for such a long time.
Uh-huh.
Are the same people making it, or is there now a Sonic Team Junior?
Junior. This one I do know. I do know a little bit more about the SRB2 history, but sorry, go ahead, David.
Oh, yeah, no, it's like it has changed hands. It's not like it was one day it was one team and then the next day is completely new. It's just the nature of it being worked on for so long and being passed along and some people working on it and some people stepping away. And then, like the people who work on it now are not the same of the original. Although technically,
Ship of Theseus, Sonic Team Junior.
Yes, but there was a Sonic Doom. That sort of was the precursor to Sonic Roboblast 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the original Roboblast was made in, what was it, Click and Create, the Games Factory. It was one of those ancient...
Sonic Roboblast 2, Geoffrey, and for any listener who this is a new thing to, is a Doom mod where you're playing as Sonic. And the idea is that there's nobody faster than Doom Guy. Like, Doom scrolling or, the movement in it is so fast that Sonic essentially is the bullet that you would be firing in Doom. But it's third person, so you're seeing more than just Sonic's hand. But over the course of 20 years, a community of people have developed multiple levels into a full campaign and many, many, many fan additional levels or bonus stages that are not necessarily part of the campaign.
It's like mods for mods.
Mods for mods. All the mods all the way down.
Yeah. Mods making mods.
I mean, after like such a long time, you have fans of the fan game.
Yes.
And then some of those fans will create mods, as fans do. I know I work at a studio called Belgarion, and we have a game. Our flagship title is called Clone Drone in the Danger Zone.
Yes.
For which I am the current narrative lead on the project. And they have an active modding community, and they've made very sophisticated mods that are like whole features. It's like whole the game features PvP multiplayer, and they've created like whole offshoots of the multiplayer that are like so elaborate and takes them years to do. I have a lot of respect for these projects and the people who put so much time and effort into them just out of love for the game. Game design is already very difficult. It's very difficult to ship a game. 1 in 3 games professionally never ships because of how difficult it is to produce them. And so my career bears that out. I've worked on a lot of titles that have never shipped. And so it's just incredible to me when somebody, when a team, just for the love of the game, makes a game. I think it's awesome.
Michael, you are also a developer of games. How do you feel about fan games?
They're all right.
They're all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has anyone made a fan game of your game?
Yeah. So I made a game. I feel terrible about this because my game, Tiny Barbarian DX, I was very inspired by a lot of games and, and Conan the Barbarian and Sword and Sorcery fiction and all that. So I was kind of pulling all that stuff into my game. And anyway, I made it. It was great. And at some point, not too long after I had made it, and this was the first time I had programmed a big project myself. It was, kind of a big deal. I felt, I've really accomplished something here. And somebody emailed me, not that long afterwards, and Nicholas had published it. And, and so there was, some ownership there that they also had some stake in it. And I didn't know how they felt about that sort of thing. But somebody messaged me and said, hey, I'm making my own Tiny Barbarian. And it was exactly the same. He had redone all of the art, but it wasn't as tiny. The characters were larger, but it was doing the exact same animations, the exact same moves. And I was like, wow, I worked really hard on this for all these years. And now this guy's just, doing the exact same thing, only his character is larger and more detailed. And I don't know what my official stance on this should be because I don't know what the company I'd been working with felt about it. And I think that I responded fairly okay about it, but it felt kind of threatening to me, to be honest, because, just one guy, my game had just come out. It didn't really feel like it was big enough to warrant fan gaming to me. And so I don't think I was mean about it or anything, but I know that in my heart, I wasn't as enthusiastic about it as I would have liked to have been. And I feel really bad about that. And if that guy's listening, I want him to know that I think he was actually doing a pretty cool thing. And I support it now for sure. But at the time, I was, was going through a rough time. The game wasn't selling as well as I would have liked. And at the same time, it was also kind of my money ticket. So,
yeah,
it just wasn't quite ready for it.
That makes sense. So
fascinating.
Sega is more hands off, though.
Yeah, famously more hands off than me.
Yeah, exactly. If you were in charge of the Sega and the Sonic stuff, you'd be like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? This is my stuff. Hands off. Get your own hedgehog."
I'd just be suing the heck out of all those people. I'd be using all my resources. Everything I had would be going into defending my IP.
Yeah,
shut it down.
That's right.
Shut everything down.
Nintendo, hire this man. This man knows what he's talking about.
For real, I would love to work with you, Nintendo.
Yeah, we'll just do it. Ask them nicely.
I've got some great things we're going to do to Let's Players. They'll be so sorry that they'll regret ever being born.
You got so many takedown demands just burning inside of you. You can't wait to put pen to paper.
Speaking of developers and official games and not so official games and high fives and mega mixes and whatever, what we could talk about? Stealth. Simon Tomley worked on Mania, the original developer of Mega Mix. He went on Twitter or X as they call it nowadays.
Yep.
And he had a bit of a thread. He was responding to someone who was like, "Oh, hey guys, I love Origins, but there's some issues, there's some glitches and bugs in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and what's up with that? Why don't you fix them?" And he responded, I guess, in a way that you wouldn't normally expect a developer to respond, which is, candidly, basically saying it's a bit of a sore point. We would have liked to do more. This game is owned by Sega. And he said, "I don't mind telling you at this point that Origins was a joke, and how 3K ended up is an embarrassment to us, as it should be to Sega." And I thought that was
wow. He had talked about that before, right? When the game came out, didn't he come out and say something that was, a lot more couched? Is that what we say? Couched words? a lot more like I'm partnered with the company that published it. You know, it felt kind of like I owe something to the fans to explain this, but also, you know, I'm being careful with my words here. This feels very familiar to me, and I definitely didn't see this message just now. This new one.
It's not the first time that we've heard. Was it this same person?
Yes. Stealth has talked about the 3K side before. He also went on record denouncing the de novo DRM that was on Mania on Steam when it first was released. And he was also the one who really pushed even before Mania was a thing and only the Sonic 1 and the mobile versions of Sonic 1 and 2 are out. He was like, we need to get the mobile version of 3K out there. So he's always been very vocal about what's going on and how he feels about it and how he disagrees with it. It is a candid view that a lot of developers, especially if they're not like, oh, I am the head of such and such, like somebody who is a few rungs down, I guess, just because of the structure of corporations, someone being that you don't really get that from a developer.
Because they have to sign an NDA.
Yeah, right. You sign NDAs.
Almost always you sign an NDA that says you will not do that.
Right.
You know, part of the reason it's notable, the unsaid thing, is that it's a kind of like a bridge burning maneuver. You know, it's not necessarily guaranteeing that he won't work on a future Sonic project, but it, you know, it is the sort of thing where it might make a decision maker look twice because, generally you don't see this for that reason. Not because people don't have those opinions, just because there are NDAs and there are, you know, corporate people listening and watching.
Yeah.
Right.
But at a certain point, he's got to come out and say, you know, what he believes, because you might say he was under a lot of peer pressure to do it. Does anybody get that joke?
I do. Because that's his game.
Why?
Yeah, Peer Pressure was a game that Headcanon made, that Stealth made shortly after Mania, right?
Yes, that was, I believe.
I actually really liked it. I highly recommend that anybody who out there who's like you think you're a Stealth fan, go play this game. It's pretty good. It's a good little side-scrolling shooter.
Yeah, that's the one that came out, because I think he also tried to make Vertebreaker, and I don't think that ended up. There was a demo for that, but I don't think it went further.
Fun fact, I named Vertebreaker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm friends with someone who worked on the team, and we were chatting on Discord about it, and he was saying, we need some names. And I was like, hey, what about this? And he's like, we love games that have breaker in the name. and they went for it.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Well, coming up still in the show, we're going to talk about Chaotix episode 3.
Yes.
We are going to learn more about Geoffrey's new game and Kickstarter. First, though, in place of Bo's Rings of Saturn, we're going to do something just slightly different.
Rings of
32X. Take it
well
away,
done.
Michael. Thank you.
Couldn't tell the difference.
Okay, so I'm going to preface this. I had this story that I was going to tell to Grant because it had come up in my life. It had resurfaced. And Grant said, wait, tell it to me on the podcast.
Yeah.
So
I'm
here
excited.
I am.
All right.
So
hopefully this isn't breaking NDA.
Yeah. When I was, I don't know. I don't quite remember for sure when this happened. But so 32X came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that some people went out and bought it and were really disappointed. But other people, I would say, kind of knew what was going on because they were reading magazines and could see that the Sega Saturn was already out in Japan, like at the same time the 32X came out. It's kind of like, well, why would you, unless you had extra money, why would you buy that when you could, wait for what was probably the thing that was going to get more support and going to be the real console, right? So that's what I did. I was like, I'm not going to buy a 32X. I have got no interest in a 32X. Why would I do that? No offense to people who did buy one, but that was me. I was like, you guys are suckers. I'm not going to touch this thing. But then, right, they made Knuckles Chaotix. And I'm like, oh no, Game Fan Magazine has glorious, 4 pages of just beautiful screenshots of this thing. And here I am, having resolved to save up my money for a Saturn to play whatever Sonic game eventually arrives on that platform. Oops. Yeah, well, we can't all be winners. And anyway, I really wanted to play Chaotix, but also I was like, well, probably shouldn't buy a 32X. And Chaotix didn't review super well across the board. So, but I still really wanted to play it. So when the 32X dropped in price, because everybody was trying to get rid of it, like Toys R Us was selling it for like $30, maybe even less.
Before the Saturn even arrived, right?
Oh, I think the Saturn was out at this time. I don't know if I had one yet or not.
That would explain. Definitely, it's
so
got then.
It definitely been a couple years by this point.
Couple years.
Yeah.
32X was,
or
32X barely lasted on the market even a couple years, right? It's like 6 months later, the Saturn. So probably, I'm just trying to imagine what year it is. So it's like
I'm having a hard time.
96, you think?
Yeah. End of 94 is when it came out.
Right.
And I feel like it couldn't have been much, 96 or 97 when this happened. Like late 96, early 97.
So
maybe.
Finding a 32X, like they wouldn't, like they're not just sitting on the shelf like for 4 years
or
3 years.
Not for 4 years, but yeah, they were on there for quite a while. And when they decided it was time to get rid of them, they were ready to get rid of them in a hurry because the price went, went down really low. And I'm like, I live in a small town. I'm not anywhere near a Toys R Us. So I gave a call. I asked my mom, is it okay if I call my aunt, your sister, who lives near a Toys R Us, and explain the situation? And then I'll give you some of the money that I've saved up, and you can write me a check that I will send to my aunt to pay for the 32X that she will pick up at Toys R Us, assuming that the thing that I read in the early internet is true and they're really selling them for these prices. And it worked out. And I got the 32X, and getting Knuckles Chaotix online was very easy. I knew that was available widely from a lot of used game stores or new game stores. I think I got it new. And then I wrote my aunt an extremely grateful thank you letter because, I didn't know how much trouble she went through to do this. I don't actually know how close to a Toys R Us she lived at the time. And for all I knew, she was going to a Toys R Us, a store that she probably didn't want anything to do with, to, get a product that maybe wasn't even there. So anyway, flash forward to a couple days ago, my cousin, the daughter of my aunt, was going through some of my aunt's stuff. They were kind of downsizing her stuff. They were in a storage unit, and they found this letter from me talking about this thing called the 32X. And they're all like, this letter is adorable. It's so sweet. What the hell is a 32X? So they reached out, and I got to explain to, some lay people, what our favorite Sega Whipping Boy console add-on is.
How do you describe a 32X to a layperson? It's like a console, but it's like a game, but it's like a visor that you don't wear.
It's like an upgrade for your Genesis that only plays 32X games and does not update any of the games you already have.
Does not. Nope.
That's right.
And none of them will be forward compatible with the Sega Saturn and the cartridge slot on that machine.
And you will never get to play any of these games officially in any capacity because nobody wants to republish them. Apparently.
Yeah, Knuckles Chaotix will be only on the 32X for the entirety of the future, despite all of the future investments into the Chaotix's characters. Their debut game will remain only on the Sega 32X.
Seems a little rude.
Yeah. I have another 32X story if we want to hear this one.
Yeah, sure.
So I didn't buy a 32X, but I did mow a heck of a lot of lawns, and I got a Sega CD. And I really liked the Sega CD. I really liked Sylpheed. I really liked Sonic CD. I kind of liked Time Gal. Big fan of Popful Mail. I feel like I got a lot of enjoyment out of the Sega CD. It felt worth having.
What about Wirehead? Did you play Wirehead?
I didn't play Wirehead.
Did you play Sewer Shark?
I did play Sewer Shark eventually.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, I feel like you're also a Sega CD enthusiast, at least in terms of like maybe just from a perspective of like a semi-lost media perspective. I don't know if you had one growing up.
I did not have a Sega CD growing up. The Sega system I had was a Game Gear, which unfortunately had no FMV games available to play on it. I love FMV, and I could talk forever about FMV.
No Night Trap on Game Gear. That would be something.
Oh, if only.
There was a whole FMV adapter for the Game Gear. It was the TV tuner.
Oh, wow. That's right.
You couldn't control the broadcast over the air signals with your controller.
But you would say then, probably, like I would say, that there were definitely ways to enjoy a Sega CD, right?
Oh, yeah. If I didn't have to buy a Genesis, I probably would buy a Sega CD.
I would say the Genesis would be the cheaper part, but...
It would be a lot cheaper. But I can't play Time Gal. You can't play Sewer Shark. On just the Genesis, you have to have that Sega CD adapter. Anyway, just a big FMV head. So, So, okay, Sega CD.
Yeah. Love the Sega CD. But I acknowledge, it's not for everybody. And anyway, so this is before I got my Saturn. It's before I got my 32X. But I was pretty hungry for that Knuckles Chaotix. And some new neighbors moved in right next door to us. And I go over to meet the new neighbors. And they got 2 kids. They're about my age. And we're talking about video games. And they've got a 32X. And I'm like, whoa, that's great. You've got a 32X. And I say, hey, I've got a Sega CD. And they just laughed and laughed. And they're all like, bet you feel like that was a big waste of money.
The 32X owners laughing at a Sega CD owner.
That's right. And I was just like, and I already had kind of formed my opinion about the 32X. So I just kind of smiled and was like, I like it. It's pretty good.
Wow. You would think they would all be on the same team, the 32X and Sega CD buyers. But it's very funny to think that the 32X people think CD people are the fools and vice versa.
That is
anyway,
funny.
They did not have Knuckles Chaotix. They had Doom and Metalhead and some other games that I want to say maybe they had the Star Wars arcade game. They were all games that I think you could play elsewhere, perhaps in better ways.
Yeah.
They didn't have Three Ninjas Kick Back.
They certainly did not.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Did you have that on Game Gear? I know it was on Game Gear.
I didn't have it on Game Gear. I had
I actually don't know if it was on Game Gear. It was
on
Genesis,
Sega CD, right? They put that on everything, didn't they?
Definitely on Sega CD.
Yeah.
How else could you play those cutscenes from the movie? Three Ninjas Strike Back. You can rip them right from the movie. Put them in the game.
Had you ever watched the movie?
I have seen at least one Three Ninjas movie. I don't know if I saw the original Three Ninjas or if I saw them strike back.
Wasn't it Kickback?
Kickback, yeah.
I thought Kickback was the name of the movie. Am I wrong?
I don't think there is just a Three Ninjas. I think it's just Three Ninjas. So if you saw Three Ninjas Kickback or Strike Back, you saw the original movie.
Okay.
I think.
I don't think so. No, I think Kicks Back is the sequel.
I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
As I've said, this podcast is full of misinformation. Here is the order of films. There's 4 films.
4 films.
Number 1, Three Ninjas.
Right.
Number 2, Three Ninjas Kick Back.
Makes sense.
Number 3, Three Ninjas Knuckle Up.
Oh, Knuckles.
Oh, there's a Knuckle
And the
connection.
4th, Three Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain.
Are these real?
Yes.
Yeah.
These are real.
Yeah, these are real.
Wow.
real.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember which Three Ninjas. I know I've seen at least one Three Ninjas movie because I have a very distinct memory when I close my eyes of just a scene of Three Ninjas, 3 boys standing in a dojo.
Yeah.
I know
They're
I've
taught
seen
by their
this.
grandfather. I know one of them is named Tum Tum or something.
Tum, yes.
Or
Tum
Tummy
Tum.
or Tummy Tum Tum.
Michael Tum Tum Douglas, portrayed by Chad Power in Three Ninjas and Three Ninjas Knuckle Up. Evan Bonifant in Three Ninjas Kick Back.
It's okay.
James Paul. What?
The characters are Rocky, Colt, and Tum Tum. You're telling me the actors, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actors, I mean...
Well, yeah, but I'm saying Tum Tum, his name is Michael Douglas. That's his...
Oh, it's Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas. Wow, he really disappeared into that role.
Rocky, Colt, and Tum. So they have real names. Samuel Douglas Jr., Geoffrey Douglas, and Michael Douglas. Why would you call your kid Michael Douglas?
And not Michael Keaton, who is actually named Michael Douglas.
That's right. But he couldn't be Michael Douglas because there was already a Michael Douglas. So he became Batman. I believe it's... Yeah.
I have another request for our listeners.
Okay.
If you are a huge Three Ninjas fan, or even just a person who is knowledgeable about Three Ninjas, I want you to write in and
Share
tell
your
us
story.
some
Yeah.
things.
Tell us
I
who
think-
you are. If you've seen all 4 Three Ninja movies and you're alive to tell the tale and you can
Yeah.
remember all 4 Three Ninja movies with clarity and
Yeah.
separation, absolutely email us. We will book you on the show.
Yeah.
You can have the show. We'll just change the show to Three Ninjas Look Back, and we will constantly look back at the
Yeah.
same 4 movies. And if you don't think we can do it, this is our 3rd year anniversary of talking about Sonic the Hedgehog on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We can do it.
You could do
Yeah.
it.
And I would also really like to know, did Sega have any involvement in the other movies? Because they sure were involved in the first one. And
What?
I feel like
Really?
that's the whole reason why I know about it, because it was a Sega thing. And so I'm kind of thinking, oh, they must not have had any involvement in these other ones, because otherwise Sega would have told me, because
Sega was involved with Three Ninjas? I knew
Yeah,
there
my
were
friend.
Three Ninjas games on Sega, but what was the involvement? What?
Oh, well, I haven't seen the first movie, but part of the plot, like a major hook, is that one of the kids, like 2 of the kids have like martial arts powers, right? And then the 3rd kid can get psychic visions through his Game Gear that will tell him things that are going to happen in the future.
Yes, that is true.
What?
I think that I think
That's
that's
not the
true.
first one.
That may have been a selling point for me to see the film. Is because I knew that the kid had a Game Gear.
Yeah.
That is like hitting like a deep into my
Yeah.
back of my brain of like remembering that exact that thing.
I very quickly just Control F searched all 4 films for the word game and gear, and it showed up never.
Oh,
Like,
well,
practically never. They went to a baseball game in one of the movies, but I didn't see anything about a Game Gear.
Son of a bitch.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Is that
I
Surf
actually-
Ninjas? Am I thinking of Surf Ninjas?
oh, we are thinking of Surf Ninjas.
Okay. All right.
We are.
Okay.
very-
All right,
So
this makes
then-
more sense.
Okay.
Oh my
I've never
goodness.
seen a Three
Oh my
Ninjas
goodness.
movie, but I have seen Surf Ninjas.
You have seen
Yes,
Surf
the
Ninja.
Game Gear is a very prominent,
That is the plot
at
point.
least on the Wikipedia article.
Do we
So
still
Game
want to
Gear's all
hear
over
from the
this.
Three Ninjas fans?
No,
I think
No,
they're
that's
going to
true.
really come after us. They're going to be so mad.
Surf Ninjas are nothing.
Yeah. Oh man, Three Ninjas fans, we're so sorry.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We apologize to.
It was a
all
confusing
3 of you.
time.
I will say, I think it's 3 minutes with 3 ninjas. And the premise of the podcast is that they go through all 4 films in 3-minute increments. And each episode is like an hour and 45 minutes. Every episode has to be longer than the longest Three Ninjas movie.
We have. Oh, what is this that you just sent?
Oh yeah, I linked something. I typed in because I was like, oh yeah, when we were like, I don't think Three Ninjas is right, and then you answered it's Surf Ninjas. But on Reddit, somebody's like, oh man, yeah, Surf Ninjas, and underneath comment, I was 10 years old when my drunk alcoholic grandfather asked me to drive him to Montgomery Wards. He was feeling particularly good when he slurred to me, I'll buy you whatever you want. He went to the music section and grabbed a Fender acoustic guitar. I went to the electronic section and grabbed the freaking Sega Game Gear. I was so excited driving back home, I had my grandpa trying to read everything on the Game Gear box. I couldn't understand why it was me who was in trouble when my dad got home from work. Looking back now, I can see obvious reasons, but it never dawned on me how poor we were growing up and how Pappy's little $1,000 bender set us back several months in finances. But hey, we still have that guitar, which is now a family heirloom, and we still have the Game Gear. Pappy passed away in 2003, and we cherish those items now. For many years, they were viewed with disdain by my mom and grandmother. It's like, wow, that's from Sativa Sawdust.
Wait, hold on. There's more. There's more.
Oh, there is another paragraph, yeah.
If we're going to read 2/3 of Sativa Sawdust, you may as well go all the way.
The kids will never know the hype of transitioning from a green screen Game Boy to backlit freaking color Game Gear. My buddy and I took a trip down memory lane last year when I bought the capacitor kit and repaired the old Game Gear. We fired up the unit and suddenly realized how washed out and bad that screen looks, LMAO. In my memories, the Game Gear has a high-contrast IPS OLED screen, ha ha ha. Nostalgia will have you forget that it looks like ass.
It
Thank
was
you very
good
much.
for the time.
And that's
Yeah.
great, because, you know, I'm not Sonic Weekly. I can't say what Sonic Weekly is, but I do think we love stories about people's grandparents.
Yes, I would say that is canonically true. And yeah, I would say you're certainly a part of the team at this point. If you've been on the show 8-9 times in 3 years,
100%.
I would say you're on the team.
Right.
Grants, ants.
And pants.
Man,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jeffrey, would
Yes.
you, as a sudden pivot, but I'm trying to think of how to connect it to Surf Ninjas, Three Ninjas, and the Game Gear.
I
Maybe
have
you can
a
do it.
thought.
Okay. I would love to hear more about your Kickstarter.
If you've got Three Ninjas trading cards,
Oh, man.
Surf Ninjas trading cards, or probably more likely, Sonic the Hedgehog trading cards, I got a project for you. I am kickstarting a game called All Cards. It's on Kickstarter for Zine Quest. And Zine Quest is a month celebrating small, independent tabletop games. And that's what I've created here. That's what All Cards is. And the idea is it's a strategic storytelling game you play with your trading cards. You could play it with any kind of card. So you could play it with Magic the Gathering cards, Pokemon cards, Sonic cards, Alf cards, tarot cards, Neopets tarot cards. All are compatible.
I do have a deck
Okay.
of Amy Rose themed tarot cards.
Right.
Yes. I don't know if they've made Sonic Tarot, but if they
They have.
have,
They have.
No,
okay,
they generally
great.
have. Yeah, that's an official Sonic product is the Amy Rose tarot card deck.
Right. Now, what about, because I have some Gulf War trading cards.
I
those work?
also have Gulf War trading cards. By the way, I also have Sonic the Hedgehog trading cards. And yes,
Uh-huh.
they are very much compatible with this game.
Okay.
It's for every type of card. So it's a strategic storytelling game. So it's kind of like D&D in that there's collaborative storytelling, but it's also like a TCG, like Magic the Gathering, in that you are playing against your opponent. So it's collaborative and cooperative. So you're telling a story together with your cards, but you're competing with them over who controls the end of the story, how the story
Ooh.
ends. And so it's basically like those TCG mechanics, they give your story structure. They give it backbone. So basically what you do is you create a deck of 20 cards, any cards that you want, you can put into your deck, and you categorize them. You give them categories. So you may have character cards that depict a character, a Sonic, an Amy Rose, a Tails. You'll have action cards, cards that depict characters doing stuff, like Sonic punching Dr. Eggman in the face, or Rouge the Bat stealing some valuable jewels. If you got that card, you could play that as an action card. And so you fill your deck with these cards, and then you choose 2 cards at the top. Those are your characters, your lead characters, your main character and their sidekick. Your Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonic and Tails, for example. But you could mix it up. Tails could be your lead character, and Sonic could be your sidekick. You could make that decision. By the way, or you could just draw your own cards. You can just completely draw your own cards. It'll all work.
What about playing cards? What if I'm the number 8?
Yes, you can do it. You can use playing cards. Those would be twist cards, which are like miscellaneous cards. Because this game is designed for cards that depict people, places, things, and actions. But twist cards are like for miscellaneous cards. So things like a number, like an Uno card, or like a card checklist. Like I always trading card packs always include those horrible checklist cards, but that tell you what the other cards are in the set. Well, now you can put those to good use because those can be used to steal valuable objects from your opponent for big points in the game. So anyway, the idea is you have these 2 lead characters and your opponent has 2 lead characters. You decide with the table like what their goal is going to be. Like what are they trying to do in this game? So if it was like Sonic, you roll a dice, you look at a table and it's like, Sonic is, trying to, recover a lost item. It's like, okay, perfect. He's like trying to recover the Chaos Emerald, And then you use your cards, your action cards, your other character cards who are supporters. You use your twist cards. You have MacGuffins, that are object cards. You use those cards through a series of scenes to try to get your central character closer to their goal, closer to what they're trying to do, or to thwart your opposing player's goal and what they're trying to do. And then at the end, you count up all your points, your triumph points, all the cool things you did throughout the story. You basically tally them up. And then whoever has the highest point total wins. And that's the basics of all cards. That's basically that's the quick play version. But there's a lot more to it than that. And it's been really fun. It's been really cool to see people reacting to it, and everybody's got these trading cards and nobody knows what to do with them. And I think this game is cool because it's both a fun game to play, but it's also a story engine. You can use it to create stories. And I think this would be an amazing way to gamify the creation of Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction. It would be, and there's, by the way, it's 2 players, but there's also a solo mode too. So you can play duet or you can play solo.
I have a question.
Yeah, I have an answer.
Great. So I may have just not been listening quite carefully enough, but what is, you said you get points for your triumphs.
Yeah.
How are triumphs determined?
Great. So like every supporter that you play, that's a triumph point.
Okay.
If you have your MacGuffin, your valuable object, that's worth a lot of triumph points.
Okay.
If you control the setting at the end of the game where the characters end up at the end of the game, that's worth triumph points.
So there's a lot of structure there in point values of things. Okay. I played a game a while back, and it was fun. It's the one where you kind of assign values to concepts, like a person could have a bear, or a person could have, it was kind of like who would win in a fight, like a bear versus Chuck Norris kind of situations.
Right.
And it was, people had to determine on their own who would win. And it could be a little frustrating because we didn't always agree about who was the strongest necessarily. So I was thinking this was going to be a bit like that, but having a little bit more like, the game structure kind of determines that. I think that's very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to bring, I love TTRPGs. Like I love Dungeons and Dragons and games like that. But I think that like, sometimes with a collaborative storytelling game, it lacks like conflict. And like as a writer, like that's narrative designer is like my stock and trade. And so we deal a lot in like story conflict. All great stories have conflict. And so I really like the idea that you could use these sort of TCG type mechanics to put conflict into the story, natural conflict between 2 sides, because all great scenes, it's a conflict between 2 characters. And so I sort of recognized like, oh yeah, like we could do that. We could tell amazing stories using those types of mechanics. Yeah, look, I love party games, like those types, but this is a little bit more of a strategic game. That's why I call it a strategic storytelling game.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Link to the Kickstarter in the description. The Kickstarter is going until
February 27th.
Okay.
That's a Friday. So you have till that Friday. We're currently, as of this recording, we're at 60% of
Amazing.
our goal. And boy, I'm really hoping that the Sonic fans out there can push us, can speed us towards that finish line. Sonic
I feel like
style.
Sega has really kind of dropped the ball with the production of Sonic trading cards. Like the ones I know about are all pretty old and out of print.
Yeah, like 93. One's from like 93 or something like that. Yeah,
I had those.
That's what I have.
Yeah.
Right. They need to make some new ones, and they could do it for this. I guess for anyone who, because I'm going to be honest, there's probably people who never look at the description. It's all dash cards. That's what you got to search for. All dash cards, just in case. Repeating it over and over again. So I want people to go to it.
Can I talk about some cards? Something I really liked. It's one of those things that existed at a time and you can't do it now. And like it used to be that every movie, would have trading cards, like Batman.
Yep.
Had trading cards.
Secrets of the Ooze. I had
Secrets of the Ooze. I was going to say Ninja Turtles. They all had trading cards. And it would just be little images from that movie. like
Yeah.
production stills and stuff. And that was like, as a kid, that was so valuable. Like you could go to a store and you could say 50 cents for like a pack of stills from a movie or stills from the Ninja Turtles cartoon. And that was art that you could have at a time when, like, now you can go online and you can look at all of the images from any movie you want. You can look at stills from cartoons. You can watch a show on DVD and you can just pause it whenever you want. And maybe you can take a screenshot. You could do that yourself. So obviously, we're not talking about a better time when we're talking about like the 90s, but the scarcity of the images at that time made those cards like really exciting and precious. And I remember like kids having Batman cards, and we're looking at like the one where Joker has shaken hands with a character, I've forgotten who it was, and it was really gruesome because he was just electrified to death, like just burnt up. And I hadn't even seen the movie then, and it just like, whoa, this tiny little 1-inch image is just, that's so freaky and gross. We're just all so excited about it. And, trading Ninja Turtle cards and trying to get that whole set because we didn't have a way to watch that cartoon anytime we wanted. This was the closest thing you could get. And it would only cost you altogether like, several bucks and a bunch of trades with your friends to get the whole movie. It was a really interesting experience back then. And we don't really, it's different now. Things are different now.
100%. Even when there were like home videos and stuff, they were still like very expensive, like in comparison to like a pack of the cards. Also, there were really cool things like you could do. They were like puzzle cards where like you could collect like images from a bigger image, like little pieces of like a bigger image. And so you like put them together and you could have like, oh, like I have this really cool like mural of the Ninja Turtles now, that's based on all these cards. There were trivia cards, literally one on my desk right now. This is from the TV show Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And it's just like, here's like answers to dinosaurs trivia.
Oh,
Of
Robbie.
course, you have dinosaurs cards just on your desk, of course.
Yeah.
I'm a Muppets nerd. And so, this is like a perfect example. Like this information wasn't like readily available. Like it wasn't like I could just look up the answer. I could just look up like what was Earl Sinclair's job title. Like that's something I could look up easily on Google. You had to have a trading card.
He's a tree pusher, right?
He's a tree pusher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's a free idea. We've been giving them out all episode long. Echo Chamber for the Echo the Dolphin podcast. The other podcast idea was
the Three Ninjas.
The
podcast.
Three Ninjas in 3 minutes. And then now Sega, Paramount, what a great idea. I mean, I feel like we've pitched this before at different ad agencies that I've worked at, or maybe Geoffrey's worked at, or because we used to do that too. But it's like, make these playing cards again. Do it. It would be fun. It would be fun if if a movie, if it made sense. I get that it doesn't make sense structurally, societally anymore to go back and start producing movie themed trading cards. But Sonic 4 could do it.
I will say there is a type of trading card that would make a lot of sense for Sonic, which is a TCG. Like you could absolutely make a Sonic trading card game. I would be surprised if there never was one. And that would be great. And those make money. Like those do actually like make money. And like Magic the Gathering is, which by the way, there were Sonic Magic the Gathering cards in their Secret Lair set. Those like print money. Like my friend is like a retailer who works at a game shop, and she said like the last year, like the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering collaboration, like basically paid for the whole year of the shop, like all salaries, like the rent, like everything. That it sold so well.
Wow.
So it's a Sonic TCG.
I just looked it up. There is a Sonic Speed Battle card game, Sonic Battle card game.
Right.
That was published by Kess, by Anthony Thorpe. And
wasn't there also a Sonic X one? A Sonic X trading card game?
Could be.
I mean, I think it was just a card game, maybe. It wasn't like...
There's been multiple board games, card games for Sonic. And this one, the card battling one, seems to be kind of closer to what Geoffrey's describing, where it's one deck, 3 games. You can play 3 modes using 24 iconic Sonic characters.
Well, now there's 4 modes because you could play all cards. You could use all cards with them. ALL-CARDS. Link in the description.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We're basically out of time. However, we do still need to talk about Chaotix episode 3.
Oh, yeah.
And I would say, screw it. We'll get to it next week. But I know for a fact that Geoffrey listened, and I definitely want to hear Geoffrey's thoughts. I definitely want to hear Michael's thoughts. I definitely want to hear David's thoughts. I'll just say my thoughts real quick, which is Tangle and Whisper sound great. But Geoffrey, let's start with you. Was episode 3 the only episode of the podcast of Chaotix Casefiles that you've sampled? Totally fine if so. And very curious if that is the case, which it is, what your thoughts were in this isolated thing of Sonic spin-off characters interacting with other Sonic spin-off characters.
Great. I am happy because there's a very funny coincidence, it turns out, with listening to this. So I listened to it, and I agree with you, Grant. I think the voice acting is spectacular.
Yeah.
I thought the line deliveries and just so funny and so effervescent. I thought that the episode was really well directed and paced.
Yeah.
Like, it sounded great. It sounded like a cartoon.
It was a cartoon showrunner, Ian Jones-Cordy, who's directing it. So
well,
right on.
I found that out after when I looked at the show description. I was like, oh my God, it's the showrunner of OKKO and the direct episode director for Steven Universe made this. That's great. And it turns out the network that makes it, Pinna, I've actually written shows for them before in the past.
No kidding.
I had
Wow.
no idea that this was a Pinna show, but I worked in a show called Hero Hotel for them about superheroes, where superheroes go to relax. It's like a superhero sitcom. And that was fun to work on. And it was similarly like well produced, where it was like cartoon and stuff.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I have absolutely no idea what was happening. I didn't know who any of the characters were. I didn't know why they were detectives.
Sure. We're still figuring that out.
I could not follow what was going on, but I laughed throughout the whole thing. Like, I thought it was just like full of joy. Like, it was obvious to me that like everybody working on it like loves Sonic and like wanted to like do a great job, and everybody was stepping up the game. It was completely inaccessible to me, but I did enjoy the experience on like a visceral level. Like,
I think that's entirely way more than fair, because what we've talked about it before. This is something for like hardcore super fans.
Well, I have a question. Did you listen to the other episodes?
No.
Okay.
I asked Grant. He said you should listen to episode 3, and I was like, "Are you sure? Shouldn't I listen to episode 1?" And he was like, "No. Episode 3 is the best one. So listen to episode 3." So I was like, I have time for one of these before the podcast, because it was the day, it was yesterday when you texted me. It's like, I got time for one. I'm doing episode 3.
I stand by it.
I think Grant
that
was correct.
Right.
But I think that perhaps it assumed a baseline familiarity with the characters that might have helped out a little bit.
No,
I know who Rouge is.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, well, that's great. But you don't know Espio, Charmy Bee, or Vector the Crocodile?
Not a single one of those characters.
Somebody needed a 32X.
As we've established, you did not have a Sega 32X, which was the debut game for those characters.
I do want to say, I've seen all 3 Sonic movies in theaters. I've played many Sonic the Hedgehog games. I've even read some Sonic comics, and I do not know who these characters are.
Yeah, that's more than fair. Okay, so David, what did you think? And then we'll go to Michael after David.
Oh, I mean, I thought it was fine. I thought I thought it was fine for the most part. I guess I'm just I'm curious what they're going to do next. We do now have voices for Tangle and Whisper. Maybe I'm still, I have a love-hate relationship with the IDW comics as it is. So now I'm also sitting there going, okay, like, where does this take place in the comic world? Where does this take place in the game world? I'm just sitting there going, it's I thought it was funny. that they were like, oh, we've got voices for Tangle and Whisper, but we're definitely not going to pay for anyone to be Jewel. So you're just going to have to take our word for it that she's somewhere in the world. But I mean, like I said, it was fine. It's not my favorite episode of the series, but I enjoyed it for what it was. They can definitely do more with Tangle and Whisper, and I think that who they hired, it makes sense voice-wise, even though I want to see a bit more with them and even them go a bit deeper with who they are in the audio format or the game format or whatever happens next. So it is just like, yeah, this is fine for now, but I want to know what happens next.
Yeah.
I guess my question was like, why isn't it Detective Sonic? Why is it like Sonic the Hedgehog started a detective agency and he's gonna solve crimes in the Green Hill Zone? Like, I could get on board with Detective Sonic. I could get on board with Detective Tails. Yeah. I know who those characters are.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're talking about the characters who were the fourth most important team out of 4 in 2003's Sonic Heroes game. Right. And then they were meeting characters who were only in the IDW spin-off comics, now making a debut in a new media format for the first time.
Right.
This Sonic is trapped in a cage.
Yeah.
Right. I heard that and I was like, why is Sonic trapped in this cage?
Well, you got to listen to the earlier episodes
also,
now that you're hooked in.
Well, there's no answers there.
Right. There would have been like a little there would have been a last time on this show.
There was, but it was integrated very smoothly and you really had to be paying close attention to catch it.
If I had told you that they went to meet Jet the Hawk, Wave the Swallow, and Storm the Albatross, would that perk your interest or leave you feeling
too many characters? Yeah. Detective Sonic. He comes in. Here's the first episode. Rouge the Bat comes into Detective Sonic's. He talks to himself in a noir, third-person noir, and Rouge the Bat is like, my Chaos Emerald has been stolen. And it's like, great. I'm going to go to the industrial zone and I'm going to interview Clucks, and we're going to find out where Rouge's emerald went. I understand that. I'd be so on board with that. It was so many characters. Mm-hmm. It was a huge cast of characters I had no familiarity with, at least with the 2 new ones. They kind of introduced them in the show. And so I got a sense for them. All the other characters, I was like, who are you people? Well, what do you want? What are we doing here?
I guess they wouldn't expect you to start with number 3.
Yeah. And not to just recap what's been discussed in earlier episodes, but the reason why Vector is one of the cool things about this is that for a long time, Vector and the other Chaotix, SBO and Charming, have been detectives, and nobody really knows why. It's mostly because in the game they debuted in as Team Chaotix, Sonic Heroes, they had missions that required them to find things. So they were detectives, even though none of them looks like a detective. And
they each 3 have another thing going on.
Yeah, like Vector is like a rapper. Charmy is a pilot, SBO is a ninja. It doesn't make any sense. Right. But in this one, we find in the first episode, because Vector is telling the story, it's like Vector just thinks he's a detective. And that is kind of the hook for the whole thing. And it's, as longtime fans, it's like, that's very funny.
Yes, I get that. Thank you for that context. It does make more sense.
But starting on episode 3, I see the problem.
I still stand by starting on episode 3 because you should be able to. I feel like it's like the same thing as like with monthly superhero comics. Even if it's issue 1033 of Batman, you should still be able to. You're not going to know every single thing, but you'll like get the gist of it.
Yeah, and I think you had fun.
I think you did.
Yes,
because I'll ask this question to Michael, and I'll bet you will have the same answer. But Michael, my question to you is, Mr. Kitsch did it, right? This new character, Mr.
Obviously.
Kitsch. Yeah. He was in episode 1. So they're doing all the like noir things where like he's in episode 1 as like a sort of incidental character as the he's a curator of the museum where the astroscopic lens was stolen, I believe. then he
Station Square.
reappears here and he has like knowledge of something that he shouldn't have. And
they're wondering also like, oh, I thought you hung out at this other museum. And he's like, oh, I come to all the museums.
yeah.
And then he disappears and they're all like, okay, and it's okay to talk spoilers here, right?
Yeah.
And so they're all like, okay, we're going to go guard the perimeter. And it's like, obviously, the guy who steals the next thing is already there. And we already know it's Mr. Kitsch. And then we know there's a shapeshifter. Tails shows up. It's not really Tails, but it's like Tails is there. Because you had said to me earlier when I had said, oh, it's so obviously Mr. Kitsch. You had said, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's going to be something a little more complex. And I think the wrinkle
red herring,
is that we were supposed to be distracted by Tails to kind of forget about Mr. Kitsch for a moment. And just historically, I've fallen off the IDW comics, but while I was still reading them, I did find the stories. I mean, this is a comic for, kids, ostensibly. The stories are a little bit simple. And where I was sometimes expecting a wrinkle, they just did kind of the straightforward thing. And, that's kind of the nature of it. So I'm pretty sure it's still going to be Kitsch. But I'd be delighted to be wrong. I'm happy to be guessing.
I do like your thoughts on it, everybody's thoughts on it. But in particular, Geoffrey, I want to really take to heart your suggestion to make the Sonic stories about Sonic.
Yeah.
They paid a fortune for that license. Pinna definitely paid a lot of money to get Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hold on. Do we know that they paid a lot of money? I thought that Sega's marketing team specifically, like the sort of like the same group that had done Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, had contracted them to produce this for them. And that's part of what I thought was so interesting about it, because this is the first time Sega is using characters from a comic book in something that is like very Sega. Like this is, it's not the same as the characters appearing in a Sonic game like Tangle and Whisper are about to.
And Michael's right. This did originate with, we know a little bit from posts of different employees who have shared on, but this did originate within the Sega lore department and the creative marketing people. And then
so they hired, because Pinna is it's a subscription service, like a premium subscription service for kids. So like my assumption was that, they're going to do a certain number of free episodes, which is what they did with our show, Hero Hotel. And then they're going to put the rest of them behind a paywall. But if they're paying for them and they're essentially an advertisement for Sonic games, that makes a lot more sense. Because if I was working at Pinna and I was paying for Sonic, I'd be like, this is going to be an audio fiction show that stars Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
Everyone's favorite hedgehog. And he's going to run around the Green Hill Zone is beating up Dr. Robotnik. And that's the story of our audio fiction. So it makes sense if they're trying to push certain characters and things, maybe for future game tie-ins and stuff like that, that Pinna was essentially a hired gun in this case. That's fascinating.
Okay. Should I say my thoughts also?
Yes, please. I think we can pretty safely say, though, that there is no future Chaotix project that we know of that this is promoting.
Yeah,
I think this is just for hardcore Sonic fans to kind of get the answer that Michael was just talking about of like, why are the Chaotix detectives? And the answer is because they pretend to be. And this I think is them doing that.
I think also
they're paying for that.
Well, I think that for Sega, for just any kind of storytelling, I think that the decision to use the Chaotix as like an entry point is really interesting because it lets them kind of explore the world in a way that Sonic doesn't. Because like Sonic has explored the world in comics, in video games, in animation, and they've done that before. And how do you do that in a podcast format? Like you can't see Sonic running around. You can't see him doing all of the cool stuff that he does. But a detective story makes sense. And they do have detectives. And it's about kind of looking at the world in a different way, I think, that you wouldn't really get with Sonic. So
I don't disagree, except that Pinna is really good at like physical action, like doing audio dramas with like physical action in them. And there's quite a bit of it in the show. So
they did really focus on the action of Tangle's tail, like attacking the crap out of somebody. Like that went on for a while.
Yeah.
Listen, again, I stand by Detective Sonic.
Move over, Detective Pikachu.
I just find it fascinating that they were like, we're going to pay a company to like make this podcast based on like a very deep cut lore, like that is really like targeted to hardcore Sonic fans who are like already bought in. I think that's cool. Like, I respect that. I also am curious though about like how they justify that, like from as like a marketing expense. Because it would be one thing if it was like there was like a Chaotix game coming out. It'd be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They're looking to push their new Chaotix game. They went into the lore and they found that they were detectives, and so just doing that for fun, that's cool. What a great job!
Yeah.
Like the Sonic lore people have, that they could like be like, yeah, we're gonna get like a premier audio fiction house to like flesh out like our like most obscure characters. That's super cool.
It's definitely cool. It's definitely something. It's definitely remarkable. It's absolutely it's a fun ride to be on as a
Speaking
super fan.
of super hardcore fans and their opinions.
Yes, last call for opinions.
My one thing, I'm going to be the one with a nitpick, is that I love Whisper. She's my favorite character in the comic, like as new characters go. And historically, I have not liked original characters who appear in these comics. So I feel a little bit protective of my interpretation of Whisper. And I just kind of felt like her voice in the podcast, like we've got Charmy Bee, we've got Tails, and we've got Tangle, all very high-pitched voices, all provided by women. And Whisper, I always imagined kind of as like a slightly huskier, throatier voice, that she's a little bit raspy because she's struggling, I felt, to get her words out sometimes. She's not just whispering. She's not just quiet. She's not used to talking a lot. So for her to talk feels like a big deal. And I kind of like that. That was just my interpretation of her. Like she's not
your interpretation.
A normal
I like that.
Character.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it just sounds like she's just another one of the, no offense to the actress, she did great.
Yeah, right.
But
just were imagining
I would
a more
have cast
RFK,
someone
like,
who did not sound like a person who normally does high-pitched voices whispering. I would have got someone who sounded a little different. And that's just my take as a Whisper stan. So
I like Whisper.
See you later.
I don't love that Whisper uses wisp-on weapons.
Yeah, that's a little cute, isn't it?
It's a little on the nose. It's a little cute as a button.
I think that's just kind of like a coincidence with her being like as a sniper.
Yeah, but you know,
it just worked out in a very cutesy way.
Well, they
Go
could
on
have
a
called her
rant
gun
about
something
wisps.
else. They could have called it the multi-tool.
Yeah, they didn't have to call it a
Super
wisp-on.
Fun.
Well, it's because they're wisps.
Yeah,
no,
but you don't need
I
Wisp
know.
in the title. You could call it anything.
And you know what we're going to call this? Over.
Like the hyper go on super like a Swiss Army knife. It's the hyper go on knife.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, we are going to call this over, right? We're going to say thank you to Geoffrey. Thank you to Michael. Thank you to David. Thank you to Bo. Thank you to everybody. Right, David?
Right, of course. You got to thank everyone, and everyone thanks us. It's because we're all having a great time, and we got to be polite. We say thank you, then you say you're welcome, and everyone continues on, and we share, and we go to like the buffet, and we order. We all get something from the buffet, or we order something to share, like a pull and tear. You go to a Italian restaurant, you get a pizza. Look, we're all pulling pieces from the pizza. We say, "Oh, can you please pass the Parmesan?" You're like, "Oh, here you go." I'm like, "Thank you. You're welcome." And we're all just we're grooving and having a good time. And I mean, what better way to celebrate the end of another episode of Sonic Weekly? That's right, the podcast you've been listening to. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, and you haven't done so already, you can subscribe to us using your podcatcher of choice, be it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or for the Android faithful, Podcast Addict. Give us a rating and a review or whatever, however it's done in your podcatcher. We appreciate it. The magical algorithm does as well. But if you reject all podcatchers, and I don't blame you if you do, we are also over on YouTube. at Sonic-Weekly. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe, and our voices are joined as always with gameplay footage recorded by friend of the show, Jack of Old Games. That's also where the Sonic Weekly shorts are located. You know, short, minute to 3 minute, bite-sized morsels that you can snack on or give to your friends like a stick of gum. Oh yeah, they're sugar-free, baby. Ho ho. Want to reach out to the show? Email us, sonicweeklypodcast@gmail.com. Drop us a line. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about. Well, we have a mailbag section. We'll answer it. And it's the only way to get a link to our Discord server. Just ask for it. We'll send it off. And soon enough, you'll be talking to some like-minded Sonic the Hedgehog fans about many things up to and including Sonic T. Hedgehog. Hey, if you're able to support the show in a monetary fashion, we are on Ko-fi. We're just Sonic Weekly over there. You can drop something in the tip jar for $5 a month. You can become one of our executive producers, just like PigDan, Pabsy, Sonikku, SavingThrows, Belgarion, Rat-Liker63, Dr. Hate, PhD, Sertoo, and Butterbeerhawk. And as I am required by law to say, you're all exceptionally smart, talented, and we all think you're really keen. Donating helps cover the costs of hosting and production of this fine program, but if you're not able to, that's perfectly fine. We're just happy that you're listening, and hey, tell your friends tell your buddies they're all welcome. Got to do the right slogan. Hey, what else do I want to do? I guess I'll just thank everyone. Hey, I want to thank once again Geoffrey for joining us. Shout out the All Dash Cards Kickstarter. All of that is in the description below. Also to thank Michael for filling Bo's seat today. Whoa, it's not Bo, it's Michael. Whoa, that could be your slogan. I don't know why, but it could be. And hey, gonna thank Grant as well, because you don't know this, but all the instruments on this track are actually performed by Grant.
Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.